Hello everyone, it's me again. Just thought I'd make a video today of another video of everything a soldier would have had in his musette bag or in his personal collection when he went into combat. Going to focus on D-Day mainly. You may remember me before. I went through some individual items a soldier would have had as far as combat goes. Well, I've gathered a few more things since then, and I just wanted to share them with you today and maybe even possibly show you how to make them. First of all, we'll start out with the musette bag. And this musette bag I actually mentioned in the other video that I made. I actually found it on Etsy, and it's I think it's an original. It was made by a company called Actress Midland, and it's dated 1943. And basically what a soldier would have possibly had in his musette bag is I'm guessing, maybe an individual diary, something like to write material on, write letters home. I'm guessing they would have had a dry pair of socks, sewing kit with a comb, toothpaste, shaving cream, soap, razor, blades, shaving brush. Black friction tape was basically electrical tape. Deck of cards, playing cards. Pretty nice repro there. And smokes. If they smoked, they would have had cigarettes. Of course, the ration bar come in handy. Now these they wouldn't actually got until they got ready to jump, but I'm sure after they hit the ground they might have stored those somewhere. And that's some motion sickness pills. Yeah, for the plane ride over the channel. Basically just found this stuff, here and there. One of the guys in our group actually made some of these boxes, and I was able to acquire some. They're just really good repros to make your kit look really authentic and really cool. And they really set off conversation when you set up displays anywhere. This past weekend we were at Peachtree City, and yeah, these items really are a conversation starter, and they kind of lead into what a soldier would have carried as far as gear and weapons. If you notice, I got all this stuff laid out on the shelter half, and I found this at a flea market. Actually, if you roll your shelter half up, which is something they might have had in their musette bag, believe it or not, it will fit in there. This is what it looks like rolled up. It's pretty tight, but and it would pretty much fill up your musette bag, But I don't know if paratroopers carried shelter halves into combat with them. But and if they had to, they could have, rolled them up tight, got them in there. But I don't know if they would have had other room for other things. We'll move over to, oh yeah, I forgot about the Franks. Probably a soldier would have jumped with Franks, because they were jumping into France, and they could actually trade things. If they had money, they could negotiate better, because they were jumping in French villages and stuff. And this is an original Bible. Funny story to this Bible. I got this from a guy who purchased a house, and he up in the attic he found an old enlisted men's uniform, and this Bible was in the pocket of the M37 wool shirt. So that's a great find right there. That's an original Bible that would have been issued to the armed forces. And there's a letter in there by FDR. See, that's kind of blurry, but I don't know if I can focus on that or not. The sewing kit's original. I found it online. I think I got that at a place called Service of Supply. I'm not sure, but they have some really good things on there. And a lot of this stuff that I'm about to move into, I'll show you. I'll try to tell you where I got it, so you can build your reenactment kit also. But anyway, that's the stuff that will probably go in the musette bag when a soldier jumped into Normandy. Hope I didn't leave anything out there. Now we're going to get into the K rations. Now, in making these K rations, I found out that K rations actually, well, they were invented in 41, and they pretty much redesigned them all the way from 41 to 45. And these K rations here, of course, are the beginning of the war type K rations. Later you had the morale boxes, which they put colors on them, and I guess that was better than the dull brown. But we'll start off with the breakfast unit. And the way I built these are kind of a combination between 42 and 45 K rations. Some of the early model K rations didn't have what I've got here to show you. I don't think they had toilet paper. I know they had cigarettes. And some of the things on here were issued in earlier K rations and weren't issued in later K rations. And I'll kind of go through that with you. Because in making these, I had to do a little research. But we'll start off. These boxes are very nice. The guy in my unit made these. It was my CO actually. And it's basically just cardstock. And did a very good job on it. And he actually coated them in wax, because your boxes were coated in wax during World War II, because I'm sure paratroopers were landing in water, so they tried to make them waterproof as best they could. Even though your items here were stored in a plastic bag until they were ready to open. So somewhat your items were protected, but at least the boxes were also to a certain degree. And these are actually made out of recycled cardboard. Like, if you can see that, that's a cereal box. And you basically just cut it the size of a box, but you gotta calculate for your folds. And basically you put it through a printer and you can print these out, and then you can you can make really good displays with them. Forget going to the store or supply store, Office Depot, Staples, and buying cardstock. I mean, you got a whole slew of it in your house. And all this is made out of recycled material. Every one of these boxes, the units are anyway. Now we'll just go through what they would have had in their breakfast K ration. And at one point they were putting fruit bars in them, and you can see that. And that's basically just a piece of cardstock I bought at Staples, and I actually printed this out on Microsoft Word and just ran it through a printer and printed that out. But that's about the size it would have been. This is a 2-ounce bar, fruit bar, and basically it's just got the ingredients in it. That would have been issued early K rations. Later you had cereal bars, which is basically, you can eat this like a candy bar or a cracker, but it's packed with evaporated milk, so soldiers were actually able to dissolve that bar in water and stir it up and eat it just like cereal. Now in your can unit, you would have had something like a ham and egg mix. And this is basically just a tuna fish can. I painted green. It would have looked similar to that. Cans in World War II were a little bit smaller in diameter, but this is the best you can do right now with a impression. And of course they all came with P38 can openers. Some of them had the can opener keys, but those things are hard to find. I couldn't find one of those, so I just put a P38 in there. And of course you had toilet paper. And from what I've researched, I don't think that early K rations had toilet paper, but I could be mistaken. I couldn't find anything on that. But as time progressed, the K rations got better too, and it's this is basically a basic meal a paratrooper could take into battle in his pocket, or he could put some in his musette bag if he had room. And of course here's a cracker unit. Basically they're compressed biscuits. Right here I used Keebler Club crackers, which most people do. Excuse me. Old Gold cigarettes. I really couldn't make all the cigarettes they offered in World War II. They had Philip Morris, Lucky Strikes, Chesterfield, Old Gold. I just used Old Gold. I don't know why I picked that particular cigarette, but I did. And basically, like I said, this is a, I think this is a Pop-Tart box. And I basically printed the label, turned it inside out, and put the wrapper around the outside of the box. And I even went so far as to make some cigarettes in a little sleeve that just slides in and out of the box. As you can see here, let's do it with one hand. Basically, it's just a cardboard sleeve. And I put 4 cigarettes in there, which that's how they would have been packed in wartime. And the cigarettes are made out of dowel rods. And I just put 1.5 rolling papers around them. So that's a very good impression for just sitting out, showing to the public. And of course, Wrigley Spearmint gum. You know, it wasn't so long ago gum used to be wrapped like this, but they quit wrapping it like this. So now you got to go off and find PDFs for it. And I do want to mention the 90th group. I can't remember the full website, but they have a lot of nice PDF files, as does the World War II Ontario Airsoft. Just go online, go on Google, and type in K-Ration PDFs, and you can find a lot of this stuff. It's pretty nice. So I'm not selling it. I'm just trying to advertise for these people that have this stuff available if you want to build a really nice K-Ration display for your World War II reenactment. These actually have sugar cubes in them. I don't recommend doing this. This hasn't happened to me yet, but one of the guys in our group says that if you get these exposed to 90-degree temperatures, they will melt. And I did experience that with some grape juice and some orange juice this past weekend that I had in some packs like this. Of course, this is actually a brown paper bag that I cut out to make this. This is coffee. That's would have been, of course, that would have been in your breakfast unit. But yeah, they will bleed through, so just keep that in mind if you got these things out in the heat, because you don't want them getting all over your stuff. That didn't happen to me. I'm glad, but it will. Now we'll move over to our dinner. It's basically the same thing. You got a little more stuff in here. Of course, your canned unit would have consisted of maybe chicken, turkey, or even, you know, ham chunks. Early war K-Rations had dextrose tablets, which is really just, you know, a concentration of sugar and other things that we probably would call electrolytes now. Of course, you had a sweet chocolate bar. It's a 2-ounce bar. It's half the size of the D ration, which is right here. And sometimes that was put in a K-Ration box, just for added calories. It was all about calories back then. Toilet paper, of course. Compressed biscuits. In this K-Ration, you had 8. You had 2 units of biscuits. I don't know why, but the research I did about the breakfast K-Rations and early war rations were 1 unit, which would have been 4 compressed biscuits. I don't know why that is. I'm just going by what I read. More cigarettes, of course, gum, and cane sugar granulated. I'm not sure how many grams this is. But yeah, that's some more sugar. That's a lot easier to display versus the cubes, because you don't have to worry about it melting and getting all over the place. That's just a box I folded up out of cardstock. And I think I got this PDF from the 90th group. And I wish I could remember the whole website name, but if you go in and type in the 90th, maybe K-Rations or something like that, maybe all of them will come up. They have a lot of really nice stuff. And of course, this is a lemonade. This is actually Country Time lemonade in just regular paper I folded. You know, and glue the edges down. But yeah, really cool, neat ideas to do, you know, as far as displays. And then we'll move over to the supper. And basically the same thing, you know, you got your caramel creams, Hershey sweet chocolate, another canned unit, which probably would have been turkey, chicken, or whatever. It just depended. Square biscuits, toilet paper, gum, matches, and